Welcome, Math 116, to the completion of the Chapter 8 lecture on circular motion. So just for a little bit of an overview, you need at least two pieces of information, sometimes you'll be given three, to calculate rotational velocity. That's revolutions as a function of time, so revs over time. For example, RPM, revolutions per minute. Angular velocity, angles traveled, also as a function of time. So perhaps it's gone through 27.5 radians in 5 seconds. That you could set up the problem, do the division, and find angular velocity given 1 second as an example. Then finally, linear velocity, which is how far an object on the circumference of the circle has traveled as a function of time. And again, that might be 200 centimeters per second, 5,000 meters per minute. Again, it's going to be distance over time. I'm going to take us to problem 74 on page 370 of our textbook as an example of converting rotational velocity to linear velocity. What have we been given in this problem? The wheel is rotating at a velocity of 175 revolutions per minute. Its radius is 3/100ths of a meter. We want to find the linear velocity of a point on the circumference. And as I was trying to mention today in our call, in our Google Meetup, sometimes this textbook walks you through the different steps that you need to get to find linear velocity, but on an exam you may just be asked to find the linear velocity. It may not step you through circumference. So when I work out this problem, I'm going to show you the circumference, but I'm going to show you how I would create a solution to finding the linear velocity from the given information. So for problem 74, what have we been given again? We've been given the fact that we have a wheel rotating at a speed of 175 revolutions per minute. We've also been provided the radius, and the radius was 3/100ths of a meter. So to find circumference, we're going to be working with the formula for circumference of a circle when you've been given the radius, which is 2 pi r. So we know in this case it'd be 2 times pi times your 0.30, and your answer is going to be in terms of meters. And I believe the problem asked us to round to hundredths. So I got 1 1/88 of a meter as the circumference when I did that. Now to find linear velocity from rotational. So remember that linear velocity we represent with the stylized v. And let's write down what we know. 175 revs per minute. And we're asked to find linear velocity. I don't think they told us what units, so we're going to leave it in terms of minutes. Now we want to get rid of revolutions, and we want to go to linear velocity, which is going to be distance, right? So we need to figure out how far that speck on the circumference of the circle travels when it goes in 1 revolution. And that would be 1 circumference. So although we've calculated up here, I would ordinarily show my work as 2 pi times the radius. Let's do a units check. Our revs cancel. You always want to have 1 unit in the numerator and another unit in the denominator. And then we're going to find our linear velocity as a function of time. And this unit up here, which I failed to write, was in meters. So when you do your calculation, 175 times 2 times pi times 0.30, you should get something on the order of 325 meters per minute. And again, that is a linear velocity because it's how far you're traveling in a linear distance, in this case, meters per minute. Now, the problem didn't ask us to convert this to centimeters per second, but I'd like to just remind you how to convert that using the unit fraction method. So let's assume this problem said, give your final answer in terms of centimeters per second. I would write down what I'm starting with, 329 meters per minute. I know I want to get rid of minutes and I want to get rid of meters. So I'm going to have two fraction conversions. Let's take care of minutes first. I want to get rid of minutes, so that's going to go upstairs. I'm going to transform it to seconds, so that goes in the denominator. And we know that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. That will get rid of your minutes. Then to convert from meters to centimeters, meters needs to be in the downstairs because it's in the numerator over here. And we recall that there were 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Again, checking our units, meters cancel. And when we perform this calculation, make sure you enter it properly in your calculator. 329 divided by 60 times 100. And as we've talked in class, depending on the order of operations in your calculator, you may want to hit a total right here to make sure that your calculator is then multiplying this subtotal by 100. And when I do that, the conversion that I got to centimeters per second was 548.3 centimeters per second. So that should complete the problem because we were asked to find circumference, we were asked to find linear velocity, and I added on converting it to centimeters per second. Now moving on, there's another problem I'd like to work from the textbook, page 371, number 76. And in this case, you have a grinding wheel with an 8-inch diameter, so be careful, that's diameter, not radius, with a turning velocity of 740 RPMs. So again, this is a revolutions per minute rotational velocity. We want to find the linear velocity of a point on its rim of the grinding wheel turning at that rotational speed. Find the linear velocity. And they are asking you to find it in inches per minute initially, and then to convert it to feet per minute. So this is a good solid practice problem taking you from rotational velocity to, or rotational speed, to linear velocity of a point on the rim. So diagramming this problem, I have my circle. I'm showing 740 revolutions per minute and my diameter is 8 inches. Again, my goal was velocity and it was asking for it first in terms of inches per minute. So let's write down what we're starting with, 740 RPM. And it might have been better if I'd written that as revs per minute. I think that's much more helpful personally. And I'm going to label my work. I'm trying to find linear velocity. I'm going to get rid of revs, right, because I don't want that. And linear velocity is distance, remember? So I'm going to have to figure out how much in one full revolution. Because I've got diameter, I can use circumference equals pi d. Otherwise, if I wanted to find radius, I would use circumference equals 2 pi r, your choice. Why don't I stick with 2 pi r? So we know radius is 4 inches. And so we're going to have 2 times pi times 4 inches in 1 revolution. And that should give me inches per minute. And when I do that calculation in my calculator, I end up with 18,598 inches per minute. So 18,598 inches per minute. That answered the first part of the question. The second part of the question said convert that to feet per minute. So that isn't too bad because you're going to be able to just convert the distance portion. You don't have to convert the time. So 18,598 inches per minute. We want to get rid of inches and we want to go to feet, right? And we know there are 12 inches in 1 foot. The 1 must go with the feet and the 12 must go with the inches. The units in the fraction are your guide as to where to place the values. Inches cancel. My answer should be given in feet per minute at the end, and I got 1,550 feet per minute for that final conversion. Now I'm going to move on to sections 810 and 811, where you're taking that information that you've been provided and trying to find angular velocity or use angular velocity to then find perhaps linear or rotational velocity. As a reminder, we use the fancy italicized W called omega in the Greek alphabet to represent angular velocity. So angular velocity, W, is when that rotational velocity is being measured in terms of radians. For example, when you go once around the circle, you have traveled 2 pi radians. If you travel only partway around the circle, you might travel pi over 4 radians. Radians can also be written in terms of whole numbers and decimals, as you may recall. Angular velocity, omega, can be calculated by finding how far it traveled in terms of angles. So remember, theta is how far it traveled in terms of angle measure. And then t over time. So again, how many angle measure it traveled over time, and angle measure must be listed in radians typically. Recall from our earlier work in this chapter and a prior chapter that your angle can be calculated by finding the distance traveled, an arc length, on a circle, divided by time. And I typically recall this myself as arc length equals radius times angle measure myself. But when you convert this formula, this represents angle equals arc length divided by time. And here's the reminder that 1 rev equals 2 pi radians. So let's say you've been given 35.6 radians. And so that's not in 1 revolution, but that your item on a circle has traveled 35.6 radians, which would have been going around quite a few times, okay? And they want to know how many revs that would be. We start by writing down 35.6 radians, and then you can multiply by 2 pi radians in 1 revolution, and then that value will represent the number of revs or revolutions that that item has traveled. And if I calculated this right, I got 5.67 revs. Similarly, very quickly, if something rotates 375 radians in 5 minutes, find its angular speed. Angular velocity to be more precise. So angular velocity is literally just radians divided by time. And you want the time unit to be over 1 minute, not over 5. And so when you do that division, you get 75 radians per minute. We'll continue in our video, but this takes us through the bottom of page 6 of our notes.